Hello, Ultimate fans, and welcome to Wild Wild Weekend.
More like Wet and Wild Weekend.
We have 4 games happening in Salt Lake City, and this is our inaugural game in Utah. We're so excited to see the Utah Wild take on the Oregon Onyx.
We're excited about the games today and the games this weekend. We've got quite a few games to be played, and so it should do a lot for the standings and what can happen. I'm Natalie Merrill.
And I'm Leah Smith.
And we'll be commentating today.
We're still on camera. Going to the field, it's a little wet outside. We've had rain and wind all day. As you can see, the players are pretty bundled up, and we'll see how the Oregon team, they were saying that they love the rain, while the Utah players are a little bit more bundled up.
A couple of the players that we're excited about, one on Utah Wild is Jessie Crowley. The last time she played with Wild, she had 43 touches and no turns. She's truly a 5-tool player, and we also love that side ponytail.
She played against the San Francisco Falcons, and she's really good at handling in a zone, so we're really excited to see what she can do.
The next player we're excited about on Onyx is JC Jones.
Number 10, she's had some really big defensive plays for the Onyx and has really someone who makes these game-changing moments. We're interested to see how she can fare in the weather, as well as a gritty team like the Wild. So for this weekend, this weekend determines championship weekend for a lot of these teams. Oregon's faring pretty well with their 2-1 record, while Utah Wild has a bit to prove with their 1-2. We're interested to see how these teams fare against each other. We didn't necessarily think that this weather was going to be happening in April, but here we are. Here are the standings on the screen right now. The Seattle Tempest, who we will see play tomorrow, they've already secured their spot for championship weekend, but all of the other 6 teams are still TBD. We're interested to see how the Super Bloom play against the Onyx as well as the Wild, which we will also see on Saturday.
Each of the teams here this weekend get to play 3 games, correct?
Except for Seattle, they are flying in for one game versus the Wild.
So that can do a lot to the standings. We talked with the coaches before the game, and I know that the Wild is really looking at Oregon to stop their vertical stack. It will be interesting if they use their vert stack today because of the weather, and I assume that Wild will come out with a zone quite a bit, but they've got some really great throwers that are going to make it difficult to stop, but maybe the weather will help with that.
Compared to the Oregon Onyx, they are mostly focused on themselves when we were talking to the coaches. They really want to focus on playing their game. They said Utah's a very strong defensive team and super athletic, so we're interested to see how they can grind up against that.
Wild likes to run a pretty switchy defense at times, and so that will be interesting if it can keep the Onyx on their toes. I think they're also going to switch up a few of their looks between person and some 3-3-1, 3-2-2, and just kind of see how things go. I know that Wild is hoping to clean up some of their resets since their last game, which was also in pretty windy weather.
Wild also has the home game advantage of having the biggest roster here. Each game roster is limited to 21 players, but they have all 30 on the sideline ready to cheer everyone on. While Onyx is traveling, they were able to fly in today and hopefully get used to some of the altitude. And it looks like they're getting ready to take the field right now.
We've got our starting lineup. It looks like we are starting on offense. Wild is starting on offense, and we've got our starting lineup. Looks like we've got Kendra Miller, we've got Jessie Crowley, we've got
Paige Stoller, we have Kendra, we already said Kendra, Kira Harujnikova, Vespera Aragon, and Corey Bigham.
Not Bingham. Now we know. And then over on the Onyx side, it looks like we've got 6 out there right now. We've got Lindsay Wilson, we've got...
We have Claudia Tajima. It's hard to see the numbers.
It's hard to see the numbers from here.
We have Rachel Egan, Aubrey Bishop. Trying to see what else. But it looks like a pretty strong starting D line. Looks like Georgina Tetlow is on, and I know she had some good defensive points last game. and they are currently receiving the game disc from one of our observers. There are 4 observers here this weekend for every game. We are trying to do our best to ensure that our observers get trained, especially in time for championship weekend on May 14th.
And it looks like our starting pole is about to go up.
Looks like Tetlow with the pole. Players doing their best to get warm and stay warm before the opening point starts.
Looks like we've got a shorter pole. Here we go.
Looks like Onyx is setting up in a zone look already.
Jesse's gonna pick it up.
Argon with the disc over to Kircher. They are normally club teammates. It looks like
Crowley.
a 3-3-1, kind of a junky look.
Got nice blade over to Bigham. Back to Jesse, a little upfield dish.
Would say Oregon's been doing a pretty good job containing the disc. The Wild haven't gained many yards.
Looks like they're trapping on one side and spreading out as they come around. We've got an upfield to Miller, and the throw comes off a little low. Wet discs make it difficult to get some of those throws off quickly.
Yeah, Miller with the disc just moving a little too quick for Hruzhnikova to grab it.
Setting up a zone from the Wild. Got a nice hook. It came back in bounds, but there wasn't a receiver.
That was Tetlow with the throw.
Looked like it was getting to a pretty high stall.
Kircher picking up to Crowley.
Coming in, we're getting through the cup to Stoller. We've got Kira to Kendra, and it looks like a goal.
That was great vision from Hruzhnikova. We're really excited to see that zone breaker. I mean, the wind has calmed down right now, so that kind of allows for those bladey throws, which normally wouldn't work in a higher wind situation. Yeah, Stoller with the dish to Hruzhnikova with the immediate throw to Miller. Looked like Miller already had a few steps on the defenders in the space, and that was a Wild goal.
That was a no hold for us. Looks like we've got our D line. We've got Sailor Ong, Jess Olson, Shea Wallen,
Lucia Way,
Cassie Williams, Molly Robbins, and Carolyn Vlack.
This is the first look we'll get of the Oregon O-line, and we'll see if Wild decides to stick with the zone. Jess Olson with the pull.
Just past half field for us.
Looks like
we've got a big huck going up and caught. A nice knee slide, good read on the disc there by Steinfeld.
Looks like a little bit of confusion on the Wild. There was no one on the mark for that huck.
Got Cassie marking. We're back to open side, and we've got a double layout. There's a turn.
The matchup between Shea Wallen and Kimber Coles will be really one to watch.
Jess Olson with the big backhand to Shea Wallen. It looks like it's coming down to the group. You can see the wind picked it up a little bit.
Looks like Wild is matching up in person.
Runzo is picking up the disc for Onyx with a scuba. Oh. It was a nice look, but just a little too far.
Carolyn Vlack picking it up for the Wild.
Looks like they're in person, and a vert stack here. See if they run a set play. The defense is looking a little poachy off the vert stack. Molly Robbins in. Oh, and a turn.
Almost Callahan territory there. What is a high stall? Tajima picking up.
Oh, we've got a nice lefty. That was a beautiful point. That's a hold for the Oregon Onyx.
Interesting to see how teams are adjusting to the weather. I think Onyx coming out still in person even after a turn, so Wild could run their vert stack. As we go on the replay during the first turn, it was a really close matchup between Kimber Coles and Shea Wallen, and then for the point we have Tajima to Coles again. Coles is definitely someone to watch. She's been a pretty great game maker, a first look cutter, and on defense is just an absolute rock star.
Looks like we got a different D-line for the Onyx. Some familiar faces, but this looks like a different D-line from the opening point.
See, Wild has also put on Jen Cogburn. This is the first point she'll see of the game. Cogburn has played Worlds, she's gone to Nationals, she's won Nationals, so she's a fun person to watch.
I feel like she's especially stands out in inclement weather. We've got Kircher with the disc to Jesse. We're in a zone again. It looks like a pretty flat zone. Nice over the top. Oh, and Kayak drops it. Oh, looks like there may be a call on the field. Looks like an off-disc foul.
Just some feet getting tangled up.
Looks like there's no contest. We continue.
Wild coming back out in his zone.
Got Aragon was on the mark, and then back to our zone.
Oh,
looks like another call, possibly a pick. I think we're deciding if it has affected the play or not. The players on the field are discussing.
Looks like 29 was the player with the pick called on them, which is Eisenbray. I think it happened after the Eisenbray's dish. Looks like the disc has gone back. Wild still holding their zone, which is a trap sideline.
Quick dishes. Oh, and an IO, but it slips out of her hands. We've got Jessie Crowley on the disc. Nice swing to Jen Cogburn. Woo! And we reel it in. Stoller reels it in for the point.
I think it's been really interesting seeing the Wild O-line set up a defensive zone on the turn. I feel like that's pretty non-traditional in instances like this. But Wild is definitely using the weather to their advantage and making it a little bit harder for for Onyx's traditional plays to run through.
It's looking like we're going to have a few new faces again on the Wild D-line this time. Oh, it's hard to catch and make that turn to catch it in and reel it in.
Yeah.
Whew.
Stoller getting low on that score, but making it work. It's a little slippery out there on the field, and I think it's going to only get worse, unfortunately.
Yes. Although maybe with turf, maybe it'll just stay about the same. Not too sloshy.
Not too sloshy. Wild, wild weekend. Looks like Wallen with the pull.
Nice, we're right about half field. Got McCready on the mark. Got Flanders picking up the disc. To Runzo, a nice big swing.
Looks like Wild is staying in a match defense, which is interesting yet again compared to their offense choosing to set up in a zone post turns.
Oh, what a nice catch. We may have a stall count.
Stall called.
Stall call on the field.
I'm assuming contested based on the disc going back to Onyx, but in the Western Ultimate League, we do have a stall to 7, which goes very quickly when you're on the field, compared to USAU rules where it's normally a stall to 10.
One of my favorite rules in the Western Ultimate League is that they do a countdown where players can move before the disc is checked in. Unlike on a foul call in USA Ultimate, you're not allowed to move until the disc is checked back in. They said no stall, and so they're continuing from where that throw was caught. Got an unmarked player. Got some nice fakes.
Tetlow with the disc.
Oh, the wind just grabbed it a little bit. Jess Olsen picks up the disc. Oh, and an immediate turn. Nice D by Peacock.
Albion Wild was just moving a little too quickly.
This is our switchy D. We've got Carolyn. Oh, what a throw. Looks like there may be a call.
Looked like Jones
It's looking like
had
a
it.
travel. I think the call is on the throw.
Another stall.
Oh, another stall called.
Contested, so our observers are stepping in.
Wild was using their switchy defense on that. It can make it difficult as the handler when the defense is switching differently than what you're used to, and it makes the checkdowns a little more difficult to get through, which is really beneficial with the stall 7.
Looks like the turn stands, but that was 85 Flanders on Onyx with that throw.
Oh, Black with the big throw.
Flanders is picking it up again for the Onyx.
What a layout, that was amazing.
Danny runs it.
Oh, high release flick. Oh, what a catch and spike. That was a beautiful throw. I love how she used the space.
Allie Steinfeld with the goal. Steinfeld is one to watch this game. She's previously played for Boston Brute Squad, and her move to the West Coast has been pretty quiet so far. So seeing her make a splash with Oregon Onyx has been really fun.
Oh, nice layout to maintain possession.
Runzo with the layout.
And Runzo with the nice look.
Runzo has played pro before, I believe, for the Austin Torch. She recently moved to Portland and is a captain for the Oregon Onyx. She's a really savvy handler. But it looks like it's a game of hold so far. We'll see if Oregon's hungry enough to get that break.
The wind has definitely died down since we started, and so it will be interesting to see if we can get some back and forth on the field and score on this north end zone. I'll give you $1 when a team does it.
Ooh. My Venmo is. Oregon coming back with their zone look.
Nice chisel by Jesse, way to get some yards. Switch up the attack angles a little bit. Through the cup with the high release. I like how Paige crashes through the cup and comes through to find those angles. Oh, what a throw. Wow.
It was
Kircher to
Meha.
Meha. That was incredible. Way to find the space. Those lady throws can be a little bit difficult to catch, especially in the rain, so I was glad that she reeled that in.
I think Wild with that point, I believe that was the first clean hold of the game, but Wild did a really great job taking advantage of the edges in the cup and those seams where people were kind of overlapping, but they were able to find those weak points, turning to Kircher, who I believe was every other on that point basically,
yes.
With a beautiful look to Meha.
Oh, that was incredible. That was awesome that how Genesee found the space to cut to and split the deep defenders.
Since the Wild O-lines had success with their zone defense, I'm interested to see if the D-line will also decide to come down in a zone to mix it up.
I know, I feel like that's a hard one. When they played LA, I feel like LA stayed in person, and with the wind it made it difficult because you needed to change your cuts, but the defense didn't necessarily have to change, and so I wonder if they'll experiment with that a little bit.
Onyx is picking up on the sideline.
It's looking to be person again.
Runzo v. Wei on the
and we've
matchup.
got a drop.
Oh, I was going to say, Lucia and Danny Runzo are both Case Western Reserve alumni, and so it's fun to see teammate versus teammate.
It looks like we have a foul called. Here for the discussion, we'll see what happens. It looks to be uncontested. Wild's got 2 handlers back and 5 cutters up. I wonder if they'll bring somebody back. I think they're deciding where the stall count should come in. It looks like it's coming in at 0. Got a big huck. Oh, what a catch by Robbins.
It was a high stall throw.
And in traffic, oh, but it looks like we maybe have a stall called.
Maybe too high stall.
Yes. Wait to see what they say. We've got some fans here. They braved the weather. Got a lot of umbrellas, a lot of people with a lot of jackets on. It looks like the stall is upheld.
Yeah, Chris Bullio really was able to put on a strong mark to force Olsen to boost it post-stall, really, but...
Oh, we've got a huck going up. We've got 3 Wild defenders. Yes, way to go, Robbins, and a big huck to Jess Olsen. Can she get it? Nice, Jess. We're going for another big huck. It's just a little bit too far, but that's the furthest we've been up that side of the to that end zone,
That
right?
is the furthest we have moved up the field, yeah.
I think I owe you $1.
Yes.
Or was it for a score?
I think it was for a score,
Oh.
but now we have a chance.
Oh, it looks like we've got a foul called. I've tried to throw around Williams before, and it is no small feat. So kudos to whoever she's guarding.
And it looks like it's Claudia Tajima, who's one of the Oregon Onyx top players. Looks like there was a contested foul on the call, so the disc is going back.
Oh, and we've got a drop. Robbins with the disc. Let's see if they can make something happen up here. Oh, and another drop. It's wet and wild. And we've got a big huck out to space. Oh, just a little bit too far.
It was a great run by Zhejiang.
And another D. Here we go, working upfield again. And a turn, shoot.
A misthrow on Onyx, but they were able to move the disc far up the field.
See if Wild will choose to slow it down a little bit or continue. Oh, just a little too far again. I feel like both teams are trying to punch it in quickly right now.
Runzo picking up for Oregon.
And we've got Robbins on defense. Can she get there? Oh, looks like another foul called.
It was supposed to go to Steinfeld. I think they got a little tangled up there.
I saw Robbins do a slash, so potentially uncontested, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens here. It's looking to be an uncontested foul. She'll take it from the goal line.
Steinfeld's a dangerous person to have with the disc, and
oh, way to keep it easy. Oh, there's another call, maybe a violation.
Violation. Once the disc was coming back in, let's go return.
Robbins on the mark. Oh, what an around.
able to thread it through to Morgan Zajon. Yeah, that was a pretty gritty point for both teams. I think it was an incredibly fast pace. Wild was really driving the team with their hucks, while Onyx were making creative looks to ensure that they are able to hold. Still just a game of hold so far.
I feel like Onyx is a very tall team as I'm watching them. A turn from each team and then the score.
Natalie still does not owe me $1. We have not scored in the northern end zone yet.
Just a little short on that throw, and then this one looked to be, this was our foul call, our contested foul call, or uncontested foul call, sorry. It's a nice around. Zhejian was definitely ready. I'm sure they've played together. Looks like we've got an O-line. Coming out, we've got our pole just past half field. Still rolling, still rolling. Got Jesse on the disc to Kayak.
This is the
to
first.
Bigham. Oh, and she drops it on the landing. Onyx is not wasting time, and now we're getting the disc moving. Nice big swing. Oh, and we've got a big huck. And we've got a good receiver. Let's see, that was Egan. Oh, and a little short, just a little bladey. Could have had $1.
We've had a couple close breaks on this game, but nothing so far.
Oh, and another D, but it looks like a foul call.
Between Crowley and Egan. Just a quick dish where it got a little physical.
I feel like it's difficult to not foul the person when you're on that side of them reaching through. We'll see what the call is. Looks like no contest. Jesse with the disc. Crowley with the disc. We're in a vert stack, and Onyx is in person. Got Cogburn. She had a big game against LA. A lot of points caught. She's very athletic. We've got Jesse. Oh, and that wet disc. Oh, those are hard.
Oh, it looks like Egan is just running deep. We had to do a quick switch, so Cogburn is out there.
Oh, we almost had a chance at a second attempt.
Now the
All
disc
the way
is
on the
on
sideline.
the opposite sideline.
Ooh, we haven't been here.
Let's see who will pick up for the Wild.
It's looking like Kircher's going to pick up for the Wild. I think that's a great decision. We're looking to be in a vert stack, pretty far off the sideline.
Say we have 61 in the lane of Onyx. They're trying to kind of
Oh,
cut
go
those
Jesse.
unders.
With the, oh! A second attempt catch, but she barely misses it. Oh, Wilson with the disc.
They were able to throw the assist to Egan. Egan was really active this point, and so definitely her hard work paid off.
If I remember correctly, Wilson is a lefty. I saw that they had some really nice hucks in some of their games.
And that is the first break of the game.
And I owe you $1.
You can buy me some hot chocolate at the merch stand later.
Here's our replay. We've got our turn. Jesse with a valiant effort.
Then just an
Wilson picks up the disc. A nice fake, and then they punch it in. I love that movement.
that was an easy red zone movement. Sometimes it's hard for teams to pull that off, especially D-lines. And so seeing a clean, well, not necessarily clean point, a clean red zone score, that's what we like to see in Ultimate. See, that's Tajima with the pull.
Oh, what a pull. Maybe it is still windy, because that was a nice pull. It looks like we just had a buzzer for the first quarter. We get to play through one turn, so Wild has a chance to still score a point and get one more hold. This will be the last possession of the game. Looks to be a 4-person cup. Wild is moving the disc very quickly. I like that they're using the full width of the field. Got it upfield to Stoller. Oh, what a nice forehand. Moving upfield to Cogburn. Little dishy back to Kayak, and Stoller for the score. Oh, that was a beautiful, clean hold.
say the Wild did a really great job using their fakes to move the cup around. They were decisive in their movements and were really able to take advantage of those spaces. Crowley getting that fake to have the mark move around so she can then dish it to Kircher just is really textbook handler zone breaker, really. Cogburn to Hruzhnikova to Stoller for the score. It felt easy out there, which hasn't necessarily been the word for this game.
It's true. I loved how the defense with Onyx, they really junked up the middle, and Wild was still able to get to the edges and paint the edges once they got there, but it makes those throws really difficult.
And that was the end of our first quarter. We're tied up at 4s, but Onyx is up 1 break. We're excited to see how the rest of this game pans out.
We want to talk about a few of our sponsors.
So we have a few sponsor ads that you can see later, but we also recommend that if you are enjoying these games from the warm indoors, maybe do a ticket donation. And so, yeah, we'll take it away and have a little break. For all you fans of the Wild, we'd like to take a moment to highlight the Wild Things, the official fan club of the Utah Wild. In addition to joining a community to show your support for the team, composed of fans from near and far, fan club members will also enjoy 15% off tickets, 10% off Utah Wild merch, exclusive Wild Things fan club swag, giveaways and sponsorship perks, first look at game day rosters, player access, and team announcements, dedicated online Slack community to engage with players and fellow fans, and much more. Speaking of giveaways, for current members of the Wild Things, check out the code word for today's game. It's Delicate Arch. It's not too late to get in on the action and find your wild side. All right, we're back to start the second quarter of the Utah Wild Oregon Onyx game. As you can tell, it's pretty wet and a little windy out, which is definitely impacting play. The Wild is going to start on defense, and Oregon is currently up 1 break this game. So we'll see how that pans out. We've had a lot of break opportunities, but not many breaks yet.
It looks like Wild is going downwind and Onyx is going upwind just based on the pole. It's hard to tell from the trees, but it feels that way.
Looks like the Wild have come out in a zone, which is our first actual D-line zone look. Looks to be a 2-3-2 with Bruns and Black on the marks.
Oh, Onyx is doing a great job of using the whole width of the field. They're really keeping them running.
I think the handler duo of Tajima and Runzo is really making it hard for the Utah marks.
Looks to be like we're slightly forcing backhand. Onyx is marching it up the field. They look really good. They've been really crisp. A nice around. Oh. And we've got a turn. Just.
I think Oregon tried to slice and dice and got a little too excited. But they have another chance. Looks like Wild is setting back up in their zone.
Onyx is in a vert stack right now. They get all the way to the forehand side, and oh, it fades away just at the last second. Jess Olsen with the pickup, an immediate huck.
I believe that was Alvey, but yes, they tried to squeak it down the sideline, and there was no one there yet.
Got Carolyn Black on the mark. Looks like a flat mark right now. Through the middle and upfield. Oh, that was a nice throw. Oh, and a round that gets tipped maybe. Makes it fall a little short. Oh, the layout for Williams, but it looks like she drops it on the landing. She's a player that's fun to watch as well. She's tall and athletic and also quick, which is a deadly combination.
If you put her or Molly Robbins, you might get double the stats because they do look alike.
It's true. Using the whole width here, Wild's defense looks to be getting a little tired. Oh, and another, we're going to call that a rain turnover. It's hard to throw with a wet disc. Olsen with the pickup. A whistle is blown. It sounds like a stall.
It looks like a timeout called.
Oh, timeout called.
I believe by the Wild. In the WUL, coaches can call timeouts when they have possessions, and during that time, the stall resets on the disc, which is a pretty big advantage, as well as coaches are able to they're able to change who is on the field. So you can put out a whole new line, so you can get some fresh legs. You can change your O&D out there. You can make a lot of changes in that short amount of time. You can see the rules up on the screen. And yeah, we're highlighting the biggest differences between the traditional USAU rule sets. And yeah, each team has 2 timeouts per half. So Oregon still has 2 timeouts to use. Wild has 1 more. It looks like on the field that the Wild is going to put on their O-line. And I believe Oregon looks like they're putting out their D-line. It's nice to get a little bit of rest, especially when you have a Wild in their zone set, having Black and Bruns just run so far so fast. You may be a little tired, and so taking advantage of being able to swap your rosters is going to be, it's a fun part of this game.
I'm curious to see whether they come out with an H-stack play or a vert-stack play. And as well, I'm also wondering if Onyx is going to come out in a cup or person to start this. Like we talked about with the timeouts, it's nice that you can save possessions. Makes those timeouts very valuable. Looks like we've got Aragon picking up the disc. We've got Kircher as her swing and Crowley as the far swing.
It looks like we have Tetlow on the mark, and as you've seen in previous points, she's able to take away those angles that throwers really want. So putting her on a handler is really smart.
Got an H-stack, and we've got person. We hit Kira, oh, and drops it on the landing. This is a slippery disc today. Aragon with the mark, a big swoop, and here we go. Oh, and Kircher with the D. That was a nice effort by the Onyx player.
I believe that was Dennehy.
Dennehy.
Or Egan. 5s and 8s do look pretty similar from here, and I'm sorry.
We've got Kayak with the disc again. A nice around to Kircher.
Well, it looks like, yeah,
D.
Oregon was in person, but they were able to kind of play a loose zone there so people could switch off.
Another set of turns, and we've got Aragon with the disc up to Kircher. Back to Aragon, and we've got an in-cutting Miller. Nice catch. And a nice put out to space to Bigham. Can she reel it in? Oh!
Just barely died.
Ooh. 24 with a sliding grab. I believe that's Bishop.
Winding up for a big huck, and she picks the swing. They pick the swing. Oh, and we've got a double D. Crowley with the disc. We get it to the backhand sideline, up to Cogburn.
Aragon basically unmarked. There we go.
Oh, Crowley with the lefty to Miller. It's a nice fake to get her mark to move.
I believe, despite the fact that that was the O-line, that is a break for the Wilds.
It is, you're right, I got confused.
That's what those switches at timeouts can do to you. That point was pretty long, but being able to see the changes between the lines during that timeout, it definitely revived that point.
We had quite a few turns. This disc has been slippery, and a lot of, we had a few second effort. Dennehy with a near miss with 2 defenders on her. We had a turn here, the disc just faded away to the wrong side, and so Bigham wasn't able to get to it.
Crowley was able to really just see that front of stack and do a beautiful lefty to Miller, who I think just stepped to catch, just no movement besides that.
I like that Wild had good spacing there. It gave him a little more space on the front of the stack, and so it leaves some of those windows a little bit easier to throw to.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it's so tight, it's really hard to hit new angles. Got our D line out. Looks to be Person and a vert stack from the Onyx. Oh, what a D. Way to go, Robbins.
It was a big play for Robbins. Wild definitely has a lot of momentum.
Olsen picking up the disc. She had a few streaking receivers, but none of them super open. She chooses to be conservative. Oh. And everybody with that wet disc. We're all taking turns throwing it away.
Onyx with a second chance. Tajima picking it up, and it looks like Wei is on the mark.
They get to bring it upfield a little bit. It went out right about at the 20. Nice swing to open up that field. We've got McCready on the mark. Tajima with the disc.
I believe that's Zajon. I cannot see past their hood.
We've got Roberts. Oh, what a throw. And we put it up to space. Can Shea get to it?
Yeah.
Looks like it's just a little bit outside for Kimber Coles.
Tajima's just not one of those players you want to let get up in that power play position. Letting her get that up line, and especially with Kimber Coles running deep, how could you not take that shot? So seeing how the Wild adjusts to Coles and Tajima on the field at the same time will be interesting.
Lined up in a vert stack. Oh, we keep it in the air.
Looks
And
like
then
it just
turn.
slipped out of McCready's hands. And Tajima picks up again for Onyx.
And like a flat flick, and we've got a hammer, but a little low. Olsen picks up the disc again. Bring it up to the line.
See, if you look at how the Onyx defense is set up, while they're in a person, there's kind of a wall situation on the side, on the mark of the wall.
Oh, and it looks like we have a call. Difficult to tell what it was. Call is upheld, and it's a turn we're playing on. Tajima picking up the disc. Boulier with the disc now with the disc. Looks like a foul is called. Call's rescinded. About to check the disc back in. Oh, we've got a scoober over the top. Oh. I love how Onyx is able to kind of slice and dice there in the end zone.
I believe that was Chris Boulier with the goal. And Tajima was able to make that scuba work this time. So hopefully we'll see that again. It always makes a fun game.
And this was a hold for the Onyx, correct?
Yes. Yeah, while Wild was hungry for that break, they weren't able to connect. They had a few bobbles that made it easy for Onyx to come back.
I love how Onyx uses the full width of the field. I feel like they're constantly going back and forth, and it really keeps the defense running. You're needing to triangulate constantly to see if you can, get in the lane. But Onyx is good at punishing you as you are running and if you overcommit at all.
Yeah, I think the Onyx handlers are all really solid. I mean, there's Claudia Tajima, obviously, and Danny Runzo. They're both just they will punish you if you just bite a little too hard.
Got Eisenbray with the pole now, coming to the Wild O-line. Nice big pole. And it looks like it slides out the sideline. After landing in, they'll take it from the sideline.
Crisp, unmarked.
Up to Cogburn. She chooses to swing. And she's able to pull it in. Oh, nice D by Watoaka. We've got a nice big huck out to space. We've got a few receivers, and we get a D. Looks like a foul. The crowd is disappointed here.
Well, if you don't know, Jen Cogburn's nickname is Jen City because she'll get anything that's put out there. She's really great at she's good in the air. She played basketball in college. She's someone that the Wild wants deep.
Looks like we're having a discussion on the field. Going to an observer. Observer says no foul. Be a turn for Onyx. Tap it back in, and we've got Crisp picking up the disc. Back to Cogburn. Got a nice huck to Staller, but it's a little low.
Looks like Eisenbray is picking up.
Oh, and we've got a Blady throw. Oh, she's able to hold on to it. Way to go, Kircher. Fighting to get a reset, getting to a high stall count, but she gets it off. Oh, and another drop. .24 with the disc, swings it back to the middle. To Amber Ulrich, and now back over to Egan. Oh, and we've got a whistle. Maybe a timeout called. Looks like a timeout called.
I believe Oregon called that.
Oregon calls a timeout and saves their possession. This is one of my favorite things of the WUL. We'll see if we get lines switched out or if they keep them the same.
Yeah, I believe that this is Oregon's D-line, and so if they want to swap for their O-line to create higher potential for a break, that would definitely be a good coaching decision. Looks like both teams are doing a swap of their lines. Wild is bringing on their D-line plus Cogburn still. And yeah, Steinfeld is taking the field, as well as John and Runzo. So this is definitely a point Onyx wants to get.
Very serious about getting this break here. Getting set, it looks to be a vert stack. Looks like Tajima's going to pick up the disc. Got an aggressive upfield reset.
Yeah, Renzo just a bit offset from the front of stack.
Got Kircher on the mark and Miller on the reset. Hit the open side. Boulier with the blade, and what a throw. That was beautiful.
See, that was 21.
She finds Runzo in the back corner. That's such a difficult throw with a wet disc. That was beautiful.
That's a break for Oregon, so they're back up. Oregon's definitely hungry for this win right now, so we'll see how Wild answers.
We only have about 1:15 in this quarter. We've got a replay. Oh, that throw. What a dime.
Like that was Tajima to a basically wide open Runzo in the corner. It's a high risk, high reward look, you know?
It's true. I feel like Wild would want them to take that look again.
And Runzo is one of the Onyx O-line handlers, and so far she's had 2 goals, 1 assist, and a few turns, as handlers do.
And a block.
Oh, and a block.
Yeah, no, you can't miss those.
It looks like Tetlow is going to pull for the Onyx. And with the WUL rule sets, in the last 2 minutes of every quarter, the clock stops just for any stoppage of play.
So this last minute will be a little longer. Looks like Wild is hoping to hurry and score. My guess is that if Onyx gets it, they're going to take their time to score in hopes that it will be the last possession of the quarter. Oh.
All
An
right.
unfortunate turn on a lefty backhand. Got Aragon on the mark. Will Oregon choose to slow it down? I guess we'll see. Getting some swings going. It looks like they're in a vert stack again. I feel like this is their happy place, and they're punting it on a high stall count.
25 seconds left in the quarter. I think Wild now really wants to hold on to it. If they turn, then there's really no chance for them to get a second point chance.
Got a vert stack here again. Oh, and it looks like a timeout called, or a stall. Let's see. Looks like a timeout. Wild saves another possession. I'm interested to see if they pull out. Well, this is their O-line.
This is their O-line.
Yeah, so maybe they keep their O-line but just have a full reset.
A mental reset or a time to kind of discuss what play they want to do. Looks like their vert stack has been semi-effective against the Onyx, but I think the Onyx D-line has adjusted to do more of a saggy switch situation, which has definitely made it harder for Wild. You see a lot more high stall throws.
I was just going to say, it feels like the Wild handlers are getting left out without a reset, and that's making it difficult, especially at the stall 7. They need a little more backup with them. We'll see if they come H or vert stack. We've got 6 seconds left in the quarter, so may not get to play through. I will get to play through to 1 turn. Hopefully they can score this point.
Looks like Wild has set up in a horizontal stack, and Onyx is just doing a person matchup with that far side handler defender poaching into the lane a little bit.
Got Kircher with the pickup.
Trying to get some water off the disc before throwing.
Disc is in. Oh, and a turn. That will take us to half. Oh,
it looks like the observers are discussing it. I think it depends on when the disc hit the ground. There could technically be like 0.05 seconds left where the Onyx would get possession, but looks like the observers are discussing it.
Let's see a replay.
Oh, and it looks like that is the end of the quarter. We are about to head to halftime, but right now it is Wild 5, Onyx 6. We've got a really tight game, especially with this rain and this wind. So we'll see how the teams readjust in the next half.
I'm excited to see what adjustments they make to come back after this. And yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a game that requires a lot of mental toughness. There have been a lot of turns. Looks like a lot of players are running to go get warm.
Sprinting to go get warm.
Sprinting to go get warm, and I hope you all have a warm beverage in your hand watching from home in just sympathy for all of them.
We will be back soon.
We'd like to shout out one of Utah Wild sponsors. Burt Lund and Physical is an official partner of the Utah Wild. Physical therapy and balance centers focus on improving your quality of life by using a holistic, whole-body approach to connect your diagnosis with a customized plan of care. Physical therapists care for people of all ages and treat a variety of muscle, joint, and neurological conditions. Burt Lund is here with us today at Wild Wild Weekend next to the Sky Machine, providing free injury screenings and KT taping to both athletes and fans. Thanks to Burt and Physical for providing Utah athletes with physical therapy services. We'd like to highlight another one of Utah Wild sponsors, Strive and Uplift.
Strive and Uplift is an official partner of the Utah Wild and provides lifting and running programming to Wild athletes. Through their values of accessibility, support, growth, and service, Strive and Uplift is passionate about providing high-quality movement education and sport performance guidance in a supportive environment. Through cultivating community spaces for movement and connection, Strive and Uplift help individuals of all abilities discover how to move confidently in their bodies. To check out more information, visit striveanduplift.com. A huge thank you to Strive and Uplift for being a sponsor of the Utah Wild. Snugs USA provides high-quality promotion gear delivered at lightning speed. Snugs values customer connections to become your trusted partner in business promotion. As Snugs' mission says, care passionately, work like crazy, think big, and do what's right. Thanks to Snugs for being a trusted partner of the Utah Wild. We'd like to take a moment and thank one of Utah Wild's sponsors. RJ Performance Group serves as the official mental performance coaches of the Utah Wild. RJ Performance Group is committed to helping athletes reach their full performance potential through personal and team coaching, with topics ranging from mental toughness, resiliency, stress management, goal setting, and mindfulness. RJ Performance Group helps athletes face mental challenges with confidence. Check out rjpg.net for more information. Thanks to RJ Performance for being a sponsor of the Utah Wild. Are you wasting too much time in Excel? Don't worry, you're not alone. Most people never get proper Excel training. ExcelJet provides free resources to help you get work faster in Excel. We break things down into simple steps with clear explanations. Stop wasting time in Excel. Visit exceljet.net today, or look for us when Googling your next Excel problem. exceljet.net. Excel made simple.
We believe that women and non-binary athletes deserve to be seen and our abilities showcased for the world to see.
We believe in perpetuating Ultimate by establishing professional teams and developing future generations of players.
We believe players of all identities and backgrounds deserve an equal opportunity to be recognized and lauded for our achievements in our sport.
We believe in sustainably and responsibly creating equitable and accessible avenues for women and non-binary athletes to join and participate in our sport.
We believe that being transparent,
open,
and responsive to criticism is critical,
and that there should always be space
to fix our mistakes,
grow, and be better.
We are the Western Ultimate League.
I really want to show young girls that they can be athletes too. I've struggled with imposter syndrome, and I've really had to ground myself in why I play. I play because it's fun. I like to compete. I like to show it with my teammates. I like to push myself to be the best. And I think being out there and doing that for them and having other people see and potentially think that, hey, that can be me one day, that's really exciting.
I know I've struggled in my own life to like take up space, and I think that it's so amazing that the ultimate field has like changed that for me. That I can get out there and I'm like, no, I know I am a good cutter and I know what I need to do here and I know my role on the team. And I think that it's just helped me open up so much. It's also led to more confidence for myself. And I really want for other women and non-binary folk to see that, oh, they're out there doing this. How do I get into that? What does that look like? You know, what's my role there?
I really liked the combination of both endurance and shorter, more competitive sprints, and then also going up directly against players. And I think that also is what attracted me to Ultimate as well. Understanding like what you're capable of doing is just a really great experience that kind of drives you to just get better at those individual skills in sports.
My Ultimate story, I've been fortunate to have coaches and friends and the community to encourage me to be the player that I am today and like ultimately fall in love with the sport of Ultimate. So I hope that the Western Ultimate League, like this program we have today, the Open Side, we continue to connect and welcome new fans and future players and continue growing this community that we all love. I think hopefully one day that someone will fall in love with the sport as much as I love it.
I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just knowing that we're giving an opportunity and visibility to the sport for young women. It's the best thing.
One more time.
Oh,
yeah! Oh yeah!
Baby!
Cody!
Welcome back to our inaugural Wild Weekend. We have got Oregon Onyx and Utah Wild playing each other. Currently, the Oregon Onyx are up 1 break. The score is 6-5. Utah Wild will be receiving out of the half, and it's been a messy game. The weather is wet, and it looks to be clearing off a little though, so we'll see how that affects the game this second half. Looks like Wild has 4 holds and Onyx has 4 holds. Only 2 clean holds, both of them by Wild. Total turnovers, 25 by Wild and 24 by Onyx. 1 break by Wild, but 2 by Onyx, and break chances 8 for the Wild or 18 for the Wild and 8 for the Onyx. Hopefully during halftime, Wild talked about cleaning up some of those break chances. If we can convert those, that may make a difference in the game. Onyx has been doing well using the full width of the field and has been playing a quick-paced game. Wild has gotten lots of break chances, so hopefully we can punch those in.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty evenly matched game so far. I think the weather has really made it difficult for both teams, so it's definitely been an interesting game to watch. Oregon's been coming out with more zone looks, though the Wild seems to be getting more and more effective at finding those weak spots in those zones. While the Wild has been switching between a person and a zone look, it seems like while they are getting more break chances, the defensive lines there are getting a little messy on their plays. They seem to be moving a little bit too quickly and it gets a little hectic instead of intense. But it doesn't seem like either team has a lot of momentum behind their plays right now, so it really is a toss-up game in my opinion.
I wish I could have been there for the halftime speeches from both coaches. Be interesting to see what they said. Tajima has really stood out this game so far. She's had a lot of really nice throws, really making it difficult for that Wild defense.
I think on the Wild, we have Molly Robbins. She's really a defensive stalwart for the team. She's tall, she's fast, she's athletic, and she can make those big plays. While I don't think she's made a lot of stats this game, she's definitely a fun person to watch, especially when they do zone looks and she can be the deep. She excels in the air and she can make those big bids happen.
Looks like we're getting the disc up to the Onyx so they can pull it to the Wild. We've got the Wild downfield with their O-line.
I think it's interesting. It looks like the Onyx have pulled over their traditionally O-line handlers with Runzo and Tajima, so they must really want that break. While Wild looks to be coming out with their normal O-line, nothing too crazy there. We have Crowley, Stoller, Harushnikova, Aragon, Kircher, Bigham, and Cogburn. Looks like they've just been throwing the disc back and forth.
Can't quite figure out where that disc needs to go.
Maybe both teams put their O-lines out. Honestly, that is kind of what it's looking like, so.
They should have been listening to our stream, then they'd know,
if
right?
they knew. Yeah, it looks like the observers are working on figuring it out. Good news is the clock is not running yet. That starts at the first pull. So teams have a little bit of time to figure it out, though. I'm sure they want to get moving down there. It is brisk out here.
Now that it's the rain has kind of stopped, it just feels cold. At least it's not cold and wet. So it might be better.
For us in the announcer booth, it is just cold. It is not wet. Can't say as much. Oh, it looks like the Wild is pulling. That is their traditional O-line, but I know all of them are great at defense. So we'll see how they adjust their strategy there.
Got Stoller with the pull. Lands right about the 40, the opposite 40. And an immediate D by Stoller. That's impressive that you can get the pull and then run down and get the score. We had a nice swing, slightly upfield to Kircher. Now we've got Kira with the disc for a high release. Oh, high release forehand to Cogburn. She's able to turn around and catch it over her head, or catch it as it goes over her head.
Looked like it was a missed throw for a second and then floated long enough for Cogburn to get back on it. Haruzhnikova putting the disc up, and you just see the disc float just long enough. I don't think Cogburn was expecting that throw, especially that throw how it actually flew. So Wild gets that break.
I think Haruzhnikova knew exactly where she was aiming. She saw all that open space at the back of the end zone.
Kayak doesn't make mistakes.
Exactly.
When Jen's out there, no mistakes.
Yeah, no mistakes. We've got Jen Cogburn with 1 goal, 1 assist, and 2 blocks with 0 turns. Especially on a day like today, she's gotten quite a few touches. That's impressive that she has no turns. Oh, we've got to pick up the disc. The spike got a little out of hand, so.
It looks like Olsen is going to be pulling for the Wild. They put their actual D-line out this time, so we'll see how their effectiveness is, though you can't really beat getting the D after doing the pull, so they have big shoes to fill.
Got McCready on the mark. There's Onyx again using that full width of the field. And it's up in the air. Can she run it down? Yes, what a throw. Steinfeld as the receiver, and we had Roberts as the thrower. That was a beautiful throw.
Steinfeld, that was a beautiful grab. Definitely deserves the kick spike.
Man, that throw was to the only spot that a defender couldn't get to. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it looked like Onyx had a really easy time finding the open lanes during that point. It felt calm, it felt breezy, and it felt like Allie made a good enough throw that she should kick spike it.
Oh, that was nice. Right at the back of the end zone. I feel like our points have gone much faster this half.
Yeah, I definitely think the speed has increased.
Onyx has averaged close to 18 points per game in the games that they've been playing. So it'll be interesting with the weather being what it is today if they get close to that.
Yeah, a big determinant of championship weekend, at least for seeding, will be point differential. Since each team only plays each other once, deciding who's where will, first of all, impact, the entirety of the weekend, but also who they're playing.
We have some nice disc movement, got to the high side of the field. Oh, a nice cut, but just a little bit, the throw is just a little bit behind.
I think Onyx did a really great job playing a saggy defense there. They were able to tighten those lanes to force that big IO from Kircher.
Oh, the throw drops a little short.
That was, I believe, Jones to Zajon.
Aragon picks up the disc, gets it back to the middle. Oregon is poaching those lanes for those handlers, making it a little bit difficult to come through the middle. Looks like we've got a travel called.
Okay, disc is back in.
Wild has transitioned to a vert stack. We had a lefty, oh, and a drop. Onyx is looking to slow it down a little. We've got Tajima, nope.
I think that's Tetlow.
Tetlow with the disc to Wilson, and a D by Kayak. Oh, big huck from Stoller.
A little too far for Harushnikova. But now the Onyx have to work it back the entirety of the field and on a corner, so looks like, I believe, Tetlow picking up.
Got 80 yards to go. We're coming in as Cup. Forehand trap, and just a little too far.
Tried to sneak it up that sideline and just couldn't make it work out.
And a drop. Tetlow with the disc and around, back to Tetlow.
A timeout was
like
called.
Timeout called.
I believe by Oregon.
This is Oregon's second timeout,
but it is a new
first of the half.
So they have they'll have one more timeout to use. Wild has 2 timeouts to use.
Perfect. Oregon only used 1 timeout the first half, correct?
Same with Wild.
Same with Wild.
So
okay.
I think
Wild
used
used
2
two.
because they were trying to get their O-line to reset with the last few seconds of the quarter. But it looks like Oregon is putting their O-line back on to try and finish out the break, while Wild is swapping some personnel out. Looks like a few, a few are staying on, a mix.
But a pretty true D-line.
Yeah, we'll see if Wild continues. It looks like that before this current playthrough, before they came out in the zone, so we'll see if they decide to stick with that or go back to person. The zone was pretty effective, though. The disc was already trapped on the sideline, so that does a lot of work for you.
That is true. Now Onyx will be picking up right about midfield and midfield by both axes. It's looking to be a vert stack. Once again, I like that they have an aggressive reset handler basically at the front of the stack.
Looks like Wild is coming out in person defense, so we'll see how tight those matchups are, though. Robbins looks shaded deep rather than directly on a person.
Forehand force. We've got a big huck, and here we go. Oh, nice D by Stoller.
That was a great read. She was able to make up that space that she lost.
Handlers are coming back. Kircher to Bigham.
Wallen was streaking deep, but Bigham decided to give it to her handler. Then Bigham was streaking deep, but Robbins decided to give it to a handler.
The crowd's going wild.
They want to see it boosted.
Got a nice around to Miller. Loving this flow. And it gets high, and looks like Kircher's going to call a foul or a strip. Looks uncontested.
Runzo on the mark.
Wild was in a vert stack. I'm sure they'll get back into it. We've got a big huck coming to Shea Wallen, and there is a D. Oh, looks like we've got another foul.
Looks like uncontested. Flanders with the D and the pickup. Got a lot of deep options, but not many unders.
Nice IO, but it's dropped. Got Crowley coming to pick up the disc. Wild in a vert stack. We've got Miller cutting open side. Oh, and the disc drops again. Onyx back to the middle. I love how they use space.
It's like JC Jones is fully unmarked, so might as well give her the disc.
And we've got a huck. Crowley and, oh, Crowley with the D. It was intended for Ulrich.
Looks like Wild is coming back in their vert stack, but it looks pretty deep.
Nice big huck. Oh, Crowley just in time. Got to swing back in a vert stack.
Looks like Onyx is playing pretty tight person, though Jones is sagging off Bigham a bit.
Stoller on the trap sideline. It's a nice mark. It looks to be a punt, and oh, she gets it with the high stall. Oh, it looks like we've got a foul called.
Stall, I believe.
Or stall called.
All right, viewers at home, see what you think. How long Stoller held the disc? Was it 7 actual seconds? 7 ultimate seconds?
I think it was a stall. I'm being honest with myself.
I'm pretty horrible at counting, so definitely not my call to make.
We'll let the players on the field make that call, though.
Observer rules, no stall.
No stall. It's a good thing I'm not an observer.
Just the peanut gallery here.
Just the peanut gallery. We're just here to talk about our cats.
Lording judgment over everyone else, like our cats. That was harder for the Wild since Wallen was able to use her momentum to get it to Miller.
Oh, we've got a nicer round. Running some nice resets. Can Shea get it? Oh, and we've got, oh, Crowley in the back with the catch.
The rolling grab. I swear she grabbed that with her abdomen and was able to cradle it in.
We told you to watch her today, and that's what we're here for. Oh, what a high release around. And what a nice catch. You only get that when your parents have been playing Ultimate around you for 20 years.
Jessie's first tournament ever was Sunbreak. It was Potlatch then, but she was about 4 years old when she went. I don't think she was able to partake in any fun activities, but everyone was thrilled that she was there. So that was a big momentum change for the Wild, though I believe that was just a hold.
That's what I was just going to say. I also think it was a hold.
With the timeouts, it allows for a lot of tone changes throughout the point, so, and personnel changes, which is how I've been identifying if it's a break or a hold. But the Wild D-line is coming out. Looks like they have a pretty strong line with...
Miller stays on. She was on last point, but they keep her on for another one.
Ong running down the field to try and get to the center, and it looks like a zone look for the Wild, which has thrown off Onyx's plans for a vert stack.
Slice and dicing through that cup. Looks pretty heavy to the middle. The zone is. Got some nice fakes by Boulier.
Yeah, Tajima and Boulier seem to be working really well together to try and get that zone out.
Eisenbray gets over in the action.
Looks
we
like
get upfield, but there's no continue cutters. And a layout D by McCready.
The crowd is going wild.
Oh, and we had a timeout called.
All right. If you're the Wild, what do? The D-line has a lot of hype behind it, but our O-line is definitely a little bit better at finishing right now.
Got a better angle on the block. And McCready's my doppelganger, so I really get excited when she gets Ds.
Roberts was working really hard to get that disc and was ready to do that slide and grab until McCready got in the way.
What a D. And
for a disc that was already pretty dicey, the the D felt very safe. It didn't seem like a lot of contact was made while getting the disc out of the way.
A fun fact about McCready is that she is a mother. I don't know any other mothers on the Wild team this year.
I only know one mother on the Onyx, but that's just because I'm on the Western Ultimate League board with Steinfeld, and so I get to hear a lot about her baby.
Oh, that's so fun.
Looks like Wild is putting their O-line back out there, but Miller yet again is staying on. She can really do it all, and is she's a downfield cutter who the Wild can really count on.
She works really hard on and off the field. It's been fun to watch her over the past few years improve in all of the aspects of her game.
Also looks like Onyx swapped over to their D-line. We have Tetlow on the mark, which, I mean, she's done a lot this game and just making it difficult for Wild throwers.
Kircher picking up the disc. We're about to tap it in, and we've got a huck. Looks like the stall count was getting high, and it's just a little too high.
All right, Tetlow picking up for Onyx. Looks like Onyx is setting up an avert stack. What they've been doing, looks like they've moved out a little bit.
What a catch. Way to attack the disc. That was incredible. Got Wilson, the lefty. They've got such nice throws. Oh, it looks a little floaty.
Oh, but they're able to bring it down.
Another nice grab.
I believe that was Bishop with the grab.
Oh, and what a put. That was beautiful, out to space. Dennehy back to Wilson. Oh, what a D. Way to go, Kayak.
Harushnikova really was able to make up that space and make it so the Onyx couldn't score that point.
The Onyx with great end zone movement leading up to that point.
Looks like Wild's now setting up in an H stack.
Forcing forehand, and we're on the trap sideline. Looks like we're going to clear out the two inside cutters and get it upfield to Meha. Oh, a big throw. We've got a nice D by, is that JC Jones, our girl?
JC Jones, person to watch.
She had another D earlier today that was really great. Oh, and a hand block by Aragon, but I think a foul is called. Looks to be uncontested.
Tetlow with the disc.
Oh, and a nice big hook from JC Jones out to space. Can they read it? What a catch, what a read. That was a beautiful backhand hook.
That was a great wide look by, I believe, Tetlow. She was able to swing it around to create all that space for JC to boost it.
Is that Dennehy with the score?
I believe so. There were two Onyx players in the vicinity, so I was hoping one of them would get it.
Yes. That was a beautiful, beautiful hug, beautiful sequence. Let's see this replay. Nice big swing.
Bigham really took the risk by trying to play tight and get that D, and unfortunately she missed, and JC was able to get off that big old hug for the score.
Yep, I love that Jones capitalized knowing that she had no mark and she could pull off a big backhand.
Yeah.
It's a great shot to take.
Yeah, they also had Bishop in the area, so I mean, if you see two of your people in the end zone, I would say that is a good time to boost it.
And hope that they communicate to each other.
That's true.
Because that's the worst.
If you D your own team, that's always a little sad for everyone.
Got a nice big high pull. Coming down to Crowley. This is my favorite play of all time. Oh. And let's see, Ulrich with the D. What a read. She really anticipated what they wanted. I loved it.
Looks like a bit of a stumble with Tajima, giving Wild another chance to score.
Wild is definitely pushing the pace. Oh, and we have a turn. Just a little bit outside of Kayak's reach. Looks to be a big huck, and here we go.
Kimber Coles.
Woo! Way to go, Coles. What a catch. What a run. And a well-deserved spike.
Kircher was right there, but Coles was able to snag that out of the air. That was a beautiful put by Onyx. They were able to say, hey, Kimber is going to the end zone. Might as well put it out for her. And you know what? It really paid off.
What a rundown. I love to see it.
And that was another break for the Onyx. So now they are up by 2 points. It's 7-9.
And it looks like it was not Coles. It was Donahue.
It was Donahue.
Dennehy, way to go. Number 12.
Oh, it was Allie.
Ah, we're way off.
Allie's going to be so mad at me. Allie, that was a beautiful play.
We'll talk to her after the game.
I'll apologize in person. That was Allie Steinfeld with that beautiful grab. She was able to read that huck really well and was able to get the break for her team.
Oh, and a kiss for the camera.
So Allie's now had 2 successful points. I mean, she's had many more, but also 2 successful kick spikes. So really, we need to be celebrating that.
Looks to be our O-line, but with a few people pulled over. Robbins is normally on our D-line. We've got her on the O-line here.
With about a minute left in the quarter, Wild really has to make sure they can get this point.
Cogburn with the strike. We've got a fill. Nice IO.
Looks like Olsen is also pulled over from the D-line. She's an all-around cutter, but she's very good back handling. She's mostly known for her big hucks.
Stoller with a nice grab. Way to keep it alive on that.
Looks like Zajan is putting on a really tight mark. And I think another stall was called.
Got a discussion on the field.
I do not know what that hand signal means, but I will find out soon.
No call.
Okay, call was rescinded. Miller maintains possession for the Wild.
Quick around to Robbins. And a nice huck. Let's see. Oh, in stride, but it looks like there is a call.
I believe it was a pick. I think Meha may have accidentally picked her defender off. Well, Genesee is normally open in the end zone. Sometimes it's not. There's not that much distance. Oh, it looks like it might have been a pick call on Robbins.
Yeah, I think it happened during the stall call, yeah.
Oh!
And it comes up a little short. Cogburn does what she can, but she can't reel it in.
With about 10 seconds left, Onyx really wants to maintain possession so the Wild doesn't have another chance. And it looks like they did that. Onyx gets to finish out the possession, and then the third quarter ends. So they definitely want to score and put away another break. And this is a big point for them. If they were able to, and that looks like the end of the possession. Onyx really had the opportunity to go up 3 points and put the game in a much more advantageous place for them. But instead, we're going to see a competitive fourth quarter. I'm excited to see how these teams are adjusting. This quarter, the third quarter was filled with a lot of big plays, but a lot of tiny mistakes, and I think that's starting to pile up, and we can see Oregon start to pull away. So we'll be back to talk about the fourth quarter in a few minutes. Thanks so much.
For all you fans of the Wild, we'd like to take a moment to highlight the Wild Things, the official fan club of the Utah Wild. In addition to joining a community to show your support for the team, composed of fans from near and far, fan club members will also enjoy 15% off tickets, 10% off Utah Wild merch, exclusive Wild Things fan club swag, giveaways and sponsorship perks, first look at game day rosters, player access, and team announcements, dedicated online Slack community to engage with players and fellow fans, and much more. Speaking of giveaways, for current members of the Wild Things, check out the code word for today's game. It's Delicate Arch. It's not too late to get in on the action and find your wild side.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Oregon Onyx and Utah Wild game. This game has the momentum has shifted a lot during this game. Oregon has managed to stay in the lead. So far, I feel like the biggest difference is that they have converted their D-line has converted their break chances significantly more.
I think in general, Onyx has been able to have cleaner D points. While Wild has had more break chances, they haven't been able to take advantage of them. Onyx has been able to maintain very cool and chilly, as well as they've taken advantage of the WUL rules with timeouts. They're able to have their D-line create a turn and then call a timeout and put their O-line out there. And we can't ignore the fact that when they have done that, they have scored.
It's true. I love, too, how Onyx has used their big throws. I feel like that has really helped a lot with their transition offense, is that they have been able to score in fewer throws, especially with the disc being wet, with it being a little bit windy. That makes a big difference when you just don't have to touch the disc quite so many times. And so they have done very well. I also feel like they've done well at the end of each quarter. They've kind of ended where they wanted to with possession of the disc. Some of those points they've scored, not all of them, but it's definitely made a difference as we are watching this game.
Though I will say, when the Wild does have the disc, they're able to take advantage of tight spaces. Sometimes it can get a little bit frantic. I think they can work on maintaining their cool with the disc, and when they're able to do that, they have succeeded. So we'll see if the O-line is able to keep their chill out there against the Onyx defense, because the defense has been pretty fiery. They've forced a lot of tight throws. They've forced a lot of errors, and it's obviously paid off for them.
It's true. We've got the Onyx D-line out. They're about to pull to the O-line. Wild has changed their O-line up a little bit. It looks like they've pulled Robbins over. There's been quite a few turns, so I think that they're hoping to have some more players that can play on both sides of the disc in case there is a turn.
We can see how their chemistry changes, since Robbins and Miller don't traditionally play on the O-line for the Wild, but with a team that really only sees each other every 2 weeks compared to a team that is able to meet weekly, I think Wild is already an experiment on chemistry building versus just general skill.
It's true. And it looks like they'll be taking it from the line, and no, it was a brick. It was difficult to tell.
Looks like Aragon picking up the disc with Eisenbray on the mark, while the Wild has set up in a vert stack. And it looks like Oregon is pulling off a little bit with a break side defender.
Got immediate front of the stack motion to the break side and a continue around.
Bigham and Robbins were streaking deep, but Wild decided to holster.
Oh, nice read by Bigham. A quick dish, and it looks like we've got a call. I felt like Jones had hit the disc. I don't know if Bigham made a call about it.
Stall contest.
And it stays with Aragon.
Ooh, slipped out of Miller's hands.
It's hard when you've got the defense bearing down on you like that.
Tetlow picking up again. She's really proven to be a consistent handler for the Onyx D-line.
Got Wilson with a nice swing. Jones with the disc.
Looks like the Wild have been setting up pretty hard, no around on their marks, but then it allows
Wilson
for
with a nice huck, but it looks to be a pick called.
Yeah.
Save the possession, but I'm sure it will come back to the thrower.
Yeah, Wild with their no-around mark has allowed for Onyx to get off these big hucks, which are very fun to watch, but we'll see if Wild adjusts to do a flatter mark or if they want to really make sure those rounds can't get off.
Lindsay Wilson has such a nice backhand.
Oh, score.
And it's a score.
Looks like.
Ruled that the pick was unaffected, I assume.
In the WUL, I believe the pick you have to be within 6 feet, so that makes it a much tighter window for defenders. Watch the back of the stack for the pick. And yeah,
that's
looks
where the
like
pick is called. Yeah, I can see why they rescinded it. I can also see why Miller felt like it was a pick, but she just wasn't quite close enough. And especially with switching personnel, I feel like they were kind of switching defense. It was difficult to know who was guarding who at that moment.
All right, we have a 3-point game. I believe that was a break for the Onyx right out of the quarter. So we'll see how the Wild is able to persevere, or if Onyx starts to run away with it now. Looks like Wild brought over Wallen, Black, and McCready over to the O-line, hopefully giving them some defensive intensity, but also those are all. Black is a solid handler, while McCready and Wallen are just really intense cutters, so we'll see if those adjustments work.
Nice big pole, here we go. Looks to be a vert stack, and the pole is bricked. Got Kircher picking up the disc. She'll take it from the middle.
Looks like Onyx is setting up pretty similarly to last time. They're semi-person defense, but they're always able to have someone pull off for that break side look, or to stop that break side look.
We've got a forehand mark, and we've got a big huck going up. Oh, we've got a lot of height under that disc, but there's a D.
Looks like Bishop was able to get there before Cogburn and maintain body position.
That was a beautiful read on the disc. Oh, what a catch! That was beautiful by Eisenbray. And a second attempt grab, way to go.
Pick called on the field.
I think they're deciding what the stall is to come in on.
Looks like Turner with the disc.
I like how Onyx has lined up their vert stack. They're going to be able to attack both sides with it slightly angled. Nice around. A little too far. We've got, oh no!
Had a second and third attempt, but
maybe
Black
some
was
contact.
able to get there. I think the contact was after the disc, but I don't think Eisenberg really loves getting landed on.
But we've got a shoelace issue. We're replay this. Oh, so many chances. Yes, looks like everybody got all in a tangle. Oh, Wild with a big huck to Shea Wallen, and she brings it in. What a catch.
Wallen did exactly what she was told to do, which is scoring goals for the Wild. I think Black did a lot that point. She was able to get that upline power position to allow for Wallen to get that grab.
Let's see a replay. Kircher to Black, and oh, nice out to space. I love how Shea attacks that disc. Nice job, Wallen.
I think Black did a really great job maintaining her line on that upline cut. Eisenbray was right on her shoulder, but Black was able to really maintain being calm, cool, collected, and throw an assist.
I agree. Okay, we've got our more traditional D line out there.
Yeah,
coming to Onyx's O line.
Looks like Wild made a few personnel adjustments. I think Crowley is over. She's a bit of a spark plug when she needs to be. as well as a good set of hands back with Black.
Our pull by Olsen. Coming down, looking to be a vert stack.
Steinfeld picking up.
Hurry to get it to the center. Oh, and now we're to an H.
Looks like Wild coming in with a zone look.
2-3-2. And they've got 2 deep. Deep on the weak side is free to come in a little.
Olsen tried to make a bid and paid the price for leaving that space open, letting Oregon gain a lot of yards.
Got another swing. I love this movement.
Runzo with the disc. Over to Tajima.
Oh, and what I love that backhand. Got a nice wide open receiver. Boulier to Roberts, it looks like. I love that quick movement. Once they got ahead of the zone, they punched it in. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Onyx was really able to take advantage of those weak spots, especially once they broke through. Once Onyx was able to get through the front 2 wall of Vlack and Crowley, it was easy going.
You could see the downfield defenders kind of realize what happened, and they all try to rush there, but they're just a little too late. Oh, nice and easy. That was a beautiful point.
All right, it's 8-11 with 7.5 minutes to go, so we still got a lot of ultimate to play, and I'm sure we'll see more stoppages as the quarter progresses.
We've got a little bit of a different O-line. They brought Williams over to the O-line. Usually she's on the D-line. We'll see if they have some special plans for her. She is an excellent receiver. And pole is up.
Tetlow's on the field again, so we'll see what difference she can make for the Onyx D-line.
Crisp in the center to Cogburn. Oh, it's a nice cut by Bigham, but it's looked off. They choose the swing. There's Williams. That is a really nice lane flash by one of the Onyx defenders. You get a nice around.
Kircher unmarked, so has all the time in the world for this red zone.
Downfield cutter's not quite knowing where to go, and we've got a hammer. Wow, Cogburn to
Crisp.
Crisp.
Crisp is normally the one throwing goals, but always glad to see her catch them. I think there was a really nice IO by Aragon to Kircher, which opened up the red zone for the Wild.
These points are going a little faster. I always feel like I've noticed this with a lot of the WUL games. Oh, we've got a nice replay. A little dishy. And the nice and easy hammer. I love it.
Nice and easy hammer. That's what you normally hear.
Yeah, exactly.
But would also like to shout out Kyla Crisp. It's her birthday today.
Her birthday.
Scoring birthday goals.
Oh, man. 1 goal. There we go.
A birthday wish.
I feel like the points always go faster in the WUL as the game progresses. Just people get cleaned up, they get used to each other, they feel each other out, and then there's some just really nice flow. We've got a few new people coming out on the D line. Olsen with a big pull.
Flack just hauling down the field to get to that first throw, really creating a no-around look.
Oh, nice sliding catch. That was incredible by Boulier. They go up the line. We've got Ong on the mark. Nice high release. Oh, Robbins with the layout.
But Onyx was able to come up with it. That was Steinfeld. She's sneaky. She's good at ultimate.
Spoiler alert, she's incredible. Oh, wow. We've got a good... We've got 2 people talking about it, and both of them unwilling to yield.
We had a lot of close looks for that point, and finally 2 players caught it at the same time. I believe
looks like Miller and I can't tell.
I cannot tell. I want to say Runzo based on the braid, but I can't tell any other identifying features.
We should have memorized those cleat colors better. We've got a replay. Oh, it's hard to tell.
Miller was able to pancake, but it looked like Runzo was able to get hands on it, so
They keep it with
Runzo
Runzo.
maintains possession.
Oh, and then Robbins gets a D. Way to go. What a run through.
Have to run to go get that disc. It flew.
Almost went down the hill.
And then Onyx setting up in a saggy defense to try and prevent those downfield looks.
You can see both teams are hungry right now. Oh, and what a D.
It was Zajon.
We've got an up high disc. Oh, she finds that space. That was beautiful to Bullier. That was a quick transition. That was beautiful.
I believe that was a hold for the Onyx, but Wild really tightened up their marks. I think almost every throw except for the goal was contested.
Yes.
But Onyx was able to move quickly after they got that turn.
Oh, let's see a replay of this. I want to see the setup on those cuts.
It was Zajon with the D.
I love that Bullier recognized that it was going to be a turn so quickly, and so she just ran deep. That was incredible.
Yeah, Olsen and Wallen were in the area, but weren't able to seal it.
Looks like we've got some coaching going on.
There's not much time between points. Each team, I believe it's about 60 seconds max between points. So coaching really has to happen on the sidelines or during timeouts.
Got Onyx polling. Let's see who's got our poll. Eisenbray.
Eisenbray's been a pretty solid puller for this game. Though it
nice
looks
and high. Got a lot of hang time on that one. A little short. Not brick, so we're trapped on the sideline.
Looks like a zony look.
It looks pretty zony. Oh, what a catch. Kircher with the layout to maintain possession. Through the middle. Looks to be zone when we're on the trap sideline, but then they come back to person, or maybe it was just zone for the first couple throws. Nice IO. Nice movement. Nice quick movement. Keeping those handler defenders running. Nice around. Aragon was nice and open. Wild is definitely being conservative with the disc right now. Oh, what a find. We've got Kircher to Cogburn on the open side. I love the give and go action. I love that they were patient. They attacked both sides of the field. Kept looking upfield, but if they didn't like something, they didn't have anything they really wanted, they really took it back. We've got Jen Cogburn with 2 goals, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. That is a hefty stat line.
No turns.
And no turns, man. Like we talked about in this weather, it's incredible.
You can see Cogburn running to the open side and being able to seal out her defender. It was a great look by Kircher, was able to thread that needle.
Kept her feet in, that was good.
I think especially with Onyx starting out in his own look, it looked like the Wild handlers needed a little bit of time to get through it, but once Onyx transitioned to person, they were really able to take advantage of it. The movement between Kircher and Aragon was really nice and was able to create that space for Cogburn to score. Looks like Onyx O-line has Tajima, Runzo, Steinfeld, some of their big power players out there, so this is a huge point for Utah. They really want to get this break. Otherwise, I mean, Onyx will still be up by 3 while there's only 4 minutes left in this game. Wild needs this break to really maintain any momentum, but
we've got a big
looks like
huck.
Onyx with a big huck, but
2
Wallen.
Coles, and we get the D. Oh, but it looks like there's contact on the play.
Coles is down right now.
Got a couple players going out to check on her.
At least on the Wild, we have 2 doctors, I think 3 nurses, a physical therapist, and a counselor. So you can see the replay here. There was a big put by Steinfeld. Oh, it looks like she landed
looks like she
weird.
landed wrong. Oh, gosh. That hurts your tailbone.
Looks like we have our trainer on the field. Obviously, the clock has stopped. Okay. We'll see the replay again, and
oh, that was a quick shot of the replay, but it does look like she just landed wrong. I'm not sure there is a foul call. Let's see this again.
Oh.
Her feet kind of come out from under her. I don't know if that was Shay that did that, or if it just was
momentum.
Yeah, momentum as she jumped, exactly. But
Looks
reaching
like
backwards.
she's talking. Might be a call. Looks like Shay is also responding. But landing straight on your butt is pretty painful and jarring. So definitely respect taking a mo there and figuring yourself out. There's no foul. But Coles is staying on, so I think it was an interesting call. I wonder what perspective the observer had. I can't really tell from the replay how much contact Wallen was able to put onto Coles. I know Wallen's a pretty physical player, but normally she's pretty safe. But Coles is taking an injury, and it looks like 56. Peacock is coming in
on for her.
And it looks like Olsen is also subbing out for Jessie Crowley. So. Yeah, I think there was a normal amount of contact on the play. I think there was generally a safer amount of contact, but I understand when players get jostled, it's not super fun.
No, it's hard as an observer. I mean, I felt like I had to watch the play 3 times on replay to really figure out what happened, and so in the moment that can be difficult.
There was a big put to Williams.
She dishes it to Wall. Oh, this is a huge point for.
Was it before the huck?
Oh, no.
Oh, Wild. Oh, Cassie looks not thrilled. If I was Williams, I'd feel the same way. That was an amazing grab. But the coaching staff didn't know that would work.
It's true. It was definitely a bailout huck, so I could see what they were doing. And this point is very, very important. We only have 3 minutes and 33 seconds left. It's a 2-point game. If they can score this, we'll be within 1, which would give plenty of time to get a break and to score. But they'll need to, this is an important point. We're running out of chances, or the Wild is running out of chances. Let's see.
This is Kircher. But that was also right when they called the timeout.
Oh, yeah, they called it right when it went. So they weren't at a high stall count. They weren't trying to save the possession.
They were trying to take a second and breathe.
They had a lot of cutters that were really deep. I wondered if they'd questioned if the.
Looks like Aguilar is there talking to the Wild O-line. Aguilar is normally known for strategy and film review, while Johnny Merrill primarily talks through plays with the O-line, and Tanya Wrights is in charge of the D-line, though Tanya is head coach. So I wouldn't expect to see a play call, but I would expect to see some hopefully traditional calm offense run by the Wild if Aguilar is out there. Though it looks like Onyx is setting up with a junk set, and it looks like they swapped over to their D-line. Steinfeld's off the field, as well as Coles.
Switched a few people out on Wild. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. They can't take too much time to score this point.
Looks like Wild is moving pretty aggressively in their vert stack.
Oh, nice grab by Kendra Miller.
Looks like Wallen is heading deep, but going for the under.
Robbins, I love this left to right movement. The cutting timing is beautiful. Playing conservative, definitely making sure we're hitting open receivers.
This is probably the cleanest vert stack we've seen from the Wild this point. Jones with the layout for the fake. This is the point for big plays, so Jones made the right call there.
Oh, we've got a hammer. Oh, and they punch it in. What a score.
A break for the Wilds.
That was clutch.
Right as I say that they need to play some conservative offense, someone throws a hammer, but it works.
I can't wait to see how the Onyx answers this. That was a well-fought point, and I'm sure they're going to come out fired up because they also know that these points are very important with only 2.5 minutes left on the clock.
Shea Wallen has 2 goals and 1 block for the weekend, and you know she's really a solid player for the Wild D-line. So you can see the replay for the point here. Just running some end zone handler sets while Kircher decides, you know what, Molly's over there.
I saw a hammer like this earlier in the game. I think I'll try it.
It's worked, I think, 3 out of the 4 times.
It's
so
been beautiful.
If we're counting those stats.
Yeah, what's our hammer stats?
Is this on Insider?
3 for 3.
All right, let's look at the Wild D-line. It looks pretty traditional. I know Hannah Bruns is out there, and she's normally a zone specialist.
Yet they brought Kayak out to the D-line. She's been on the O-line most of these points, but she is a very versatile player. If we get a break, she'll definitely help in converting it to a point. If
looks like there's an unmarked thrower. Hruzhnikova has also played club with a lot of these Onyx players. Hruzhnikova spent the last summer playing with Portland Schwa.
I just love these athletic matchups. I feel like Onyx has such an athletic team. Oh, that was a beautiful throw, but she's not quite in on the goal line. Oh, what a throw. That was beautiful.
A very quick point for the Onyx.
I love the trust on that throw, just knowing that your receiver's going to be coming up line. She gets a nice little jump in to make sure that to finish the play for the point. That was beautiful.
That was Zajon with the score. You see Steinfeld with the huck on the replay. Looks like Runzo just knocking on the door. Was able to have a few different looks before Zajon makes it into the end zone.
Runzo is a good person to have on the end zone line. I feel like her throws have been crisp today.
And you can see Zajon's stats for the game. 2 goals, 2 assists, 1 block, and 2 turns.
It's an impressive stat line with this weather. She's had a ton of touches, and so only 2 turns, I think, is pretty amazing. They're looking to pull quickly. We've got 1 minute and 44 seconds left on the clock. 2-point game.
The clock's going to stop for every call now, so hopefully we're able to move through this game quickly, but I know Wild really wants to make this point quick so they can get the break.
Junky defense.
A lot of small dishy passes for the Wild to try and break through that.
A lot of bumps on these handlers as the other receivers are running by, punting it. We had a high stall count. We're going to argue whether she threw it before.
Yeah, Crowley spent a lot of time with that disc there. Though I know she got bumped by Eisenbray, so I don't know if that reset the stall because that was off mark technically.
Yeah. No foul, stays a turn.
Stall, so observers have been holding up stall contests more often this game, which we haven't traditionally seen in other WUL games. 7 seconds is a very short amount of time, especially when it's normally more like 4 or 5 seconds, because players are excited, they're working hard, and sometimes forget how long a second can actually be.
It's true.
But Onyx with the break chance now. They have to work it down a little bit further than if that stall had been upheld.
Got to hammer our 4 for 4. I'm loving these hammer looks. Big lunges. Got a tight mark. Oh, and it looks like a pick is called. There's definitely some traffic right there at the front of the stack.
Yeah, very swirly offense there. Though Onyx has been able to make those small dishy passes and makes it difficult for the Wild to cover the rest of the ground.
Got discussions.
Timeout called by Onyx.
Timeout by Onyx. We'll see if they switch out some personnel. Like we said, this is a really important point. We've got 43 seconds left, so if they can maintain possession for 43 seconds, then the game will be theirs. If I were them, I would make a lot of throws, take this really slow.
Yeah, while the Wild want it to really just, they want to get that D immediately, punch it in really quick, and hopefully have another chance to score. This is pretty important, just the length of this point in general. We see Tanya Wrights out there with the Wild D-line, but it looks like they're pulling Meha over. Meha is an incredible cutter and a tight defender, so definitely want her on your side.
Yeah, they'll need to get a turn quickly. My guess is that they play person defense and go really hard on those handlers, make those windows really tight and hope that they can force them to turn it or get a D. And then we've got Tanya out talking on the field. Her expertise is definitely defense. That's where she thrives and where she played. She's got great insight on those calls.
Onyx setting up in their normal vert set, though it does look like Runzo is a bit deeper than normal and less offset, so it definitely is a front of stack. Just ISO for the handler back there. So
got Eisenbray picking up the disc. And Kircher on the mark, Vlak on the front of stack.
Yeah, yet again, we've seen how impactful Runzo has been this game, so having Vlak be a really tight person on. Oh, and a quick turn. Looks like Wallen is
going
boosting.
deep. They have to score fast if they are going to get another chance to tie the game.
Less than 30 seconds.
Oh, what a catch and big contact. We're going to stop the clock for that.
Yeah, player, looks like Wallen ran into Kircher. Kircher just couldn't see Wallen coming in from the deep.
That was teammate to teammate.
Jen's a doctor, so.
And Wallen is very strong.
Wallen is almost made of rubber.
Yeah. She recently did the CrossFit Open, and I creepily stalked her and checked her scores, and there's a reason she's a professional athlete and I am not.
Wallen actually lives up in, I believe, Kalispell, Montana.
Wow.
She's actually the only player without a pod here. So Utah Wild players play in pods, and Wallen doesn't have anyone else to throw or play with. So she really is just doing her best and doing it all alone.
Oh, we've got a nice huck, and Cogburn reels it in, and then Molly lays out for the score.
That was a huge grab from Cogburn. Now it's a 1-point game with 12 seconds left. So if you're the Onyx, you just want to hold on to it. You want to play some easy, slow offense. While if you're the Wild, you want to generate that quick turn.
Got a replay. Huck from Kircher. Oh, she knows that they needed to score quickly. Cogburn bringing in those basketball skills. That was incredible.
To make the grab around 3 defenders and making the easy pass to Molly Robbins.
Okay, if I was the coach, and I don't know if I'd really do this, but if I was coaching Wild, I think I would do a short pull so the defense can get to person defense immediately. We'll see what they call, but they've only got 12 seconds, so they can't get them in a position that they can just swing the disc back and forth and only maintain possession.
Yeah. Wrights is a big fan of having players do a pull out the sideline no matter how short, so we'll see. I think it looks like Stoller is out there. We saw last time Stoller pulled, she was able to get the D on the first throw.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to see that again. But it looks like Onyx is also putting out their kill line. We have Steinfeld, we have Runzo, we have Tajima, we have Zajon. Looks like a very solid line out there.
Got a roller pull. Does it go out? It does not. 6 seconds left, and
ooh, Vlak almost got that first throw D, and
that is game.
It is important, though, for Oregon to still put this point away. Like I said earlier, we have championship weekend in the May 15th of that weekend, and point differential would determine a lot of seeding. So Oregon doesn't want to necessarily just take the win and walk away. They want to make sure that they get that point diff.
That was maybe my favorite throw of the entire game. That was beautiful. We're 5 for 5 on hammers now, and then I want to see that blade again. That was unreal.
That was a great grab by Roberts.
Wow. That's a wrap. We've got Oregon 14, Utah 12. It was a close game. It was well fought. Powered through the weather.
It was a game with a lot of big plays and big throws, and we were able
that
to
throw. That is so hard to guard against. That was absolutely incredible.
It was a close game, and we'll get to see more Ultimate in Salt Lake City tomorrow. We have the Discraft play of the game coming up, and it is going to be Allie Steinfeld for the Oregon Onyx. That grab against tough pressure from Paige Kircher. Unfortunately, this clip does not include the kick spike after. I think the celebration is just important.
Oh, but wait. Now we get the kick spike.
Thank you, producers, for showing. It's the kick spike of the game. She's saying hello to her babies.
I would say, did you say that she's the other mom?
That was a hard-fought game between Wild and Oregon. We're excited to see both teams play tomorrow. Oregon will be playing against San Diego, and Utah will be playing against Seattle. It was a hard-fought game with a lot of turns. I think both teams were able to really dig deep to complete some big plays.
I loved the mental game from both teams. Way to grind it out. They just played so hard, and they didn't let those turns get to them. They powered through and really worked it out. This was an incredible game to watch, and the Onyx did phenomenal. It was wonderful watching them and having a home game here in Utah.
A home game here in Utah. It was wet, rainy, windy, but here are some highlights from this game. Get to see Cogburn with that great read from that pass from Parushnikova. Allie Steinfeld just with another amazing grab.
The throws that led to these highlights were incredible. A nice D by McCready.
Allie saying hello while Runzo is able to get that easy pass, though I think the throw to Runzo was even more impressive. And then Tajima sealing out the game with that blade to Roberts. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you tomorrow for more Ultimate. My name is Leah Smith.
And I am Natalie Merrill.
And this is Western Ultimate League. Thanks so much.